What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Chantal came online for about an hour and a half this morning. There's a lot of things to discuss. The full recap of this video is available at gorlickbread.com. If you didn't watch my last video, I did express that there is going to be a subscription cost increase on Monday. The great part about that is if you're already a member or if you join before Monday, that is not going to impact you at all, and you will be grandfathered in to the original rate. So, one of the most important things about today's video was Chantal's admission that the home was in fact damaged during the war. She talks specifically about crying while walking through the home, piles of rubble stacked up in the home. This is completely contradicting what she initially told us when the home was not impacted by the war. She also goes on to say that Salah's aunt, which they visited, also had a home that was impacted by the war. Chantal is kind of like to put on a facade that, where they live is this area that was somehow immune to all of this. Again, all the fireworks we hear apparently in this area. And we're learning slowly as she goes live, this is not the case. Now, she does come online and Salah is not there. In my opinion, traditionally, Chantal does this when she's alone, when she wants company, when she's bored. So I believe that is why she comes online with no real plan of what she's going to talk about. She just wants someone with her. Salah is not. He's apparently in the beginning out getting the window tint removed from the car for some reason. He does return, though, during this stream. And when he returns, it's not for long. Chantal does not get to cook. And he says that he needs to go back out to get his hair cut. About an hour into this stream, if you'd like to go watch it, someone clearly enters the area. This is not the first time this has happened while Chantal's been streaming. She initially believes that it's Salah, but Salah then appears in the chat, so we know that it's not. She kind of brushes all of this off and just almost passively ignores that this has taken place. Salah then does come back because she says to him he needs to stop and get food. So she claims that they're living in this home. She claims they're the only ones living in this home. But the more and more we watch very short clips of her day, the more we realize people just enter. Go back to when she was eating the chicken. People just enter this, quote, home without any type of advanced warning, knocking, notice. And she oftentimes, because she's so enthralled with streaming, doesn't realize who is coming in and out or who is there. I don't know how this is going to play out in the future, but I do know we're likely going to see scenarios like we have in the past where Chantal has to kind of awkwardly mute the camera or instantly get offline. And it's a really, really strange dynamic. She also goes on to talk about how uncomfortable she is eating there. She says that she cannot eat traditionally. She claims that she has not been able to cross her legs since she was in grade school. Now, she says that this makes it more difficult for her to eat around company because Salah is apparently more forgiving about these things. However, the expectation is that she would eat on the floor. So we really don't get the idea that she's doing that. This also works hand in hand with her saying now that she disrespected Kuwait and that she's hyper focused on making respectful content. She's not recognized in Syria the way she was in Canada, the way she was in Kuwait. And she's openly came out and said that she's shown these people her YouTube channels, that she's shown Sasa the reaction channels. But now all of a sudden, she wants to portray this image of, well, these people don't know who I am. If they did, there might be consequences. Thankfully, they don't know about my past. So again, you're lying at some point, right? You're either lying now or you were lying then. Which is it? And why does any of it matter? The reality becomes anyone that wants to find out about Chantal's past is able to go do that. Anyone that wants to judge her for her past actions is able to do that, and she has no control over it. So for her to kind of sit here and say, oh, this is a good thing that I'm here because apparently it just allows her to have this clean slate that she constantly wants, and that she's going to make content going forward that isn't going to put her in a position to have reaction channels talk about her is really an odd choice when she takes that same thought process and carries over into Amber, because she doesn't believe that Amber is going to stay off YouTube. And her thought process with this is because of the amount of money Amber makes. Usually you would have years of schooling to do this, or it would take working a lot. And she claims that because YouTubers, quote, do nothing and make all this money, that Amber wouldn't voluntarily walk away from this. And she almost positions herself as, I don't want to say being better than Amber, but she basically says a big part of all of the reason Amber's leaving is the drama. And she almost kind of says, well, I can compartmentalize the drama. I just, block it out. And as long as you don't pay attention to it, you're not going to have any issues. I think it's twofold. Number one, Chantal gets a fraction of the views that Amber does. And number two, Amber does interact so much more with Defiance. Amber, most recently, has had family members come online that show everyone what we thought about her content and her personality is in fact accurate. These are things that really Chantal will never have to worry about. There's no family member that's going to come online and kind of out Chantal. So for her to sit here and position herself that she understands what is a really unique situation is a bit strange. Amber has had her exes come online and create very, very clear motives and agendas that Amber has had. Chantal has not had this happen, yet even to this day, she's sitting online this morning and talking about Bibi. She's talking about how Bibi was punished as a child, and she's comparing that to Amy Ramadan and how people simply did not understand. People simply in the Western world have this different concept, these different mindsets. It's almost as if she has disassociated the fact that she is, in fact, from the, quote, Western world. And while she may have stayed for a short period of her life in Kuwait, in Syria, it has not been nearly long enough to change her viewpoints so drastically. The fact that she sits here and continues to disrespect the West, the fact that she sits here and continues to try to create this narrative, even when her chat asks her not to, about politics and motives and the global climate is astonishing to me, because not only is she uneducated to it, she is extremely biased because her main agenda seems to be disrespecting anyone from the Western world or anyone from Western culture with this concept that anything Western media does, anything reactors do, is all specifically for the motive to make Syria or Kuwait look bad. Chantal does this all on her own. She is not educated to the areas she goes out to. She does nothing to change the mindset that people may or may not have about what Syria is like by driving through cities that are essentially left in rubble, by lying about where she lives, having not been impacted by the war, but then later impacted by the war. She feeds into all of those narratives. And the initial case is that she's always lying to make things appear better than they are. Whether or not that home, whether or not her aunt's home has been impacted by war, does not matter. Homes can be rebuilt. The fact that she had to lie about it is very telling. The fact that she is sitting here promoting this culture and accepts that she is unable to eat properly, the fact that she does not show a Quran, the fact that she does not show a prayer rug, but wants to continue to promote herself as a Muslim revert is astonishing. And her chat has continually told her not to do this. She does feel that in this video, being a Canadian citizen, she can go back any time. She clearly has a thought process that if Amber's channel goes away or she doesn't post for a month, that it may impact Chantal's views. I just don't think it's going to work out that way. I just don't. But I would love to know your thoughts on it. These are the top comments from the last video. You know I appreciate each and every one of you. And just like Chantal wanting to make a meal in hopes that Salah gets back as soon as possible, I'll be back as soon as I can with more commentary.